Hello everyone, welcome to the fifth lecture of this course heat transfer. So today we will be discussing the critical thickness of insulation in this conduction module, and we will discuss this critical thickness of insulation for various geometrical shape, and there we will see different formulas and equations for this critical thickness of insulation or the critical radius for the cylinder or the sphere. And based on those different formula we will discuss different numericals, and after that we will start the basics of the heat transfer through the extended surface, that is fin. Okay, so let us start this lecture. So what is this critical thickness of insulation or the critical radius? So in a plane wall, the area perpendicular to the direction of heat flow, adding more insulation to a wall, it always decreases the heat transfer. So this is from our general concept, we can say. Now the thicker the insulation, the lower will be the heat transfer rate. It is obvious. Now this is due to the fact that the outer surface have always the same area. So this is the thing happen in case of a plane wall. The thicker the insulation, the lower will be the heat transfer rate, because the outer surface will be having the same area. But what happens in case of the cylindrical or spherical coordinate? In that case, the addition of insulation, it also increases the outer surface, but it decreases the convection resistance at the outer surface. But in some cases, a decrease in the convection resistance due to the increase in surface area, it is more important than an increase in conduction resistance due to the thicker insulation. As a result of this, the total resistance may actually decrease, resulting in the increased heat flow. So this is the thing happens in case of the cylindrical and spherical coordinate. So that means the addition of the insulation for those cylindrical or spherical objects, the addition of the insulation, it increases the outer surface, but it decreases the convection resistance. Okay. As a result of this, the total resistance, it may actually decrease, resulting in the increased heat flow. Now the thickness up to which the heat flow increases and after which the heat flow decreases. So this is the definition of the critical thickness. So this critical thickness is the thickness up to which the heat flow increases and after which the heat flow it decreases. But in case of the plane wall, we will say the term as critical thickness of insulation, but in case of the cylindrical and spherical coordinates, that means in case of the cylinder and sphere, we will say that it is the critical radius. Now it can be derived the critical radius of insulation depends on the thermal conductivity of the insulation K and the external convection heat transfer coefficient small h. Let us move to the next page. So here you can see one diagram is given critical thickness of insulation, that is in case of the spherical coordinate or a sphere, it is known as the critical radius. In case of the cylindrical coordinate also, it is known as the critical radius. Now this critical radius, it is the ratio of K by H, that is thermal conductivity to the convective heat transfer coefficient. Now in this diagram it can be seen if the R1, it is R1 if it is less than the critical radius, then the total resistance R1, what is R1? It is the inner radius of the cylinder, and R2 it is the outer radius of the cylinder. Now the total resistance in case of the R1 less than R critical, then the total resistance it decreases and the heat rate therefore it increases with an addition of the insulation. So this phenomena, it continues until the outer radius of the insulation, it corresponds to the critical radius, where the heat rate, it reaches its maximum. Now it is desirable for cooling of an electrical wire, since the addition of electrical insulation, it would aid in transferring heat dissipated in the wire to the surroundings. Again, any further addition of material beyond this critical radius, which is the ratio of K by H, it would increase the total resistance and therefore decrease the heat loss. Now this behavior would be desirable for insulation of pipes, where insulation is added to reduce heat loss to the surroundings. So this is the concept of the critical radius in case of the cylindrical coordinate. So let us discuss some example of this critical thickness of insulation or critical radius. Let us assume a steel pipe of R1 is 10 mm, which is exposed to natural convection at H equals to 50 watt per meter square Kelvin. Now the pipe is insulated by material of thermal conductivity K equals to 0.5 watt per meter Kelvin. We need to determine the critical thickness of this combination. So how to determine the critical thickness? So in the earlier slide we have seen the formula for the critical thickness. It is the ratio of the K by H, that is thermal conductivity, to the convective heat transfer coefficient. And the thermal conductivity, it is given here 0.5 watt per meter Kelvin, and the value of H, it is given 50 watt per meter square Kelvin. So that means ultimately we are getting the critical radius as 0.01 meter. Now if R1 is 10 millimeter and critical radius it is 0.01 meter, so hence critical radius it is greater than R1, and heat transfer it will increase with the addition of insulation up to a thickness of R critical minus R1, that is 0.0005 meter. So this is the value of the critical thickness of this combination. So the next example is critical thickness of insulation in case of spherical coordinates. So in a similar manner, the critical radius of insulation for a spherical shell, the formula, it is actually the R critical, that means the critical radius it is 2K by H. Okay. So this is the formula for critical thickness of insulation, and in case of the combination of that steel pipe and in case of the spherical coordinate. For the first case the R critical it is K by H, and for the second case the R critical equals to 2K by H. Now what will be the critical thickness of insulation of a circular tube? So to derive this equation, let us consider a layer of insulation which might be installed around a circular pipe, which can be seen in the figure. It is given Ri, it is the internal radius, and Ro is the outer radius, and the inner temperature of the insulation it is fixed at Ti, and the outer surface it is exposed to a convection environment at T alpha. And from the thermal network the heat transfer is Q equals to this formula. From our earlier concept we can write the Q for, that is the heat transfer in case of the circular tube, it is 2 pi L Ti minus T alpha divided by ln R naught by Ri divided by K plus 1 by R naught H. So these are the thermal conductivities here. One is the ln Ro divided by R whole divided by K, and another is 1 by ROH. So both will be multiplied by 1 by 2 pi one will be multiplied by 1 by 2 pi k, and another will be multiplied by 2 pi L. So both will be actually multiplied by 2 pi L. So this equation, it can be represented to determine the outer radius of the insulation RO, which will maximize the heat transfer. Now the maximization condition, it will be dq dRO, this is equals to 0. So this is the condition for maxima or minima, which we know from our mathematical concept. So this dq dRO, if it is 0, then if we do the differentiation of this equation, then after 2 or 3 steps, after certain step, we will get the value of this RO, this is equals to K by H. So this above equation, it expresses the critical radius of insulation concept. Now if the outer radius is less than the value given by the equation, then the heat transfer, it will be increased by adding more insulation. Now for the outer radii, if it is greater than the critical value, an increase in insulation thickness will cause a decrease in the heat transfer. The concept is that for sufficiently small values of the convective heat transfer, the convection heat loss, it may actually increase with the addition of insulation because of increased surface area. So this is the concept of this critical thickness of insulation for a circular tube, a hollow circular tube. So let us try to discuss the critical thickness of insulation for a sphere. The diagram we can see here, the critical thickness of insulation for a sphere. The equation for heat flow through a sphere with insulation, the inner radius, it is R1, and the outer radius, it is R2 for this sphere. Now the insulation has been provided here in this sphere. So the heat transfer, it will be T1 minus T air divided by R2 minus R1 divided by 4 pi k R1 R2 plus 1 by 4 pi R2 square dot H naught. So we need to implement the similar procedure which we have done in the last slide, that is in case of a cylinder. So we need to do the differentiation here. So if we do the differentiation, then after these 4 different steps, we will be getting R2, that is the RC, this is equals to 2K by H naught. So this is the critical radius, the formula for critical radius of the sphere. So this is equals to 2K by H naught, and this is the derivation for this critical thickness of insulation for a sphere. Now let us try to discuss one numerical based on this critical thickness concept. So what the question says, calculate the critical radius of insulation for asbestos. The thermal conductivity is given surrounding a pipe and exposed to room air at 20 degrees centigrade with H equals to 3 watt per meter square degree centigrade. Calculate the heat loss from a 200 degree centigrade 5 centimeter diameter pipe when covered with the critical radius of insulation and without insulation. So what you have seen, that this value of the critical radius, the notation may vary from RC or RO. So the critical radius, it is K by H. So the value of K and H, these are given in the question. So it is around RO equals to 5.67. So this is the outer radius, are 5.67 centimeter. Now the inside radius of the insulation, so this is 2.5 centimeter. So the heat transfer, it can be calculated as Q by L equals to the formula that we have seen in the last slide. The formula we have applied here, and whatever the values given, we have put all those values in this equation. So after the calculation, we are getting Q by L, this is equals to 105.7 watt per meter. Now, without insulation, the convection from the outer surface of the pipe, this also we need to calculate. So without insulation, Q by L, the formula for Q by L, this is equals to H multiplied by 2 pi R whole multiplied by Ti minus Tu, as all the values are given in this question. So if we put all this value here, then we will be getting Q by L, this is equals to 84.8 watt per meter. So that means what, the addition of the 3.17 centimeter of insulation, it actually increases the heat transfer by 25%, that is from 84.8 watt to 105.7 watt per meter. As an alternative, the fiberglass having a thermal conductivity, it might be employed as the insulation material. So if it is done, then the critical radius, it would be R0, this is K by H, and this will be 1.33 centimeter. So what happens? Now the value of the critical radius, it is less than the outside radius of the pipe. So addition of any fiberglass insulation, it would cause a decrease in the heat transfer. So in a practical pipe insulation problem, the total heat loss will also be influenced by radiation as well as convective or convection from the outer surface of the insulation. So this is the procedure by which we can solve the problem regarding the critical radius of insulation. Let us discuss the next numerical. A uniform sheathing of plastic insulation where the thermal conductivity is given is applied to an electric cable of 8 mm diameter. The convective film coefficient on the surface of bare cable as well as insulated cable was estimated as 12.5 watt per meter square degree centigrade, and a surface temperature of 45 degrees centigrade was observed when the cable was directly exposed to ambient air 20 degrees centigrade. So these are the things given in the question. We need to determine the thickness of insulation to keep the wire as cool as possible, and the surface temperature of insulated cable if the intensity of current flowing through the conductor remains unchanged. So here first we need to find the thickness of the insulation, and the thickness of the insulation we need to find to keep the wire as cool as possible. Now to do that, the required condition corresponds to that. For critical radius of insulation, this is equals to R2 equals to RC, and the formula we have seen earlier, that is K by H. As the value of K and H, these are given in the question, so we need to only put this value here, and we are getting the value of RC, this is equals to 14.4 millimeter. That is the critical radius. So the thickness of insulation, it will be R2 minus RC, or R2 minus R1. That will be the thickness of the insulation provided here to keep the wire as cool as possible. So the formula will be R2 minus R1, that is the thickness, which can be seen from the diagram also. So the thickness, it will be 14.4 minus 4 millimeter, that is 10.4 millimeter. So this is the value of the thickness of the insulation to keep the wire as cool as possible. Now for the next part of this numerical, you need to calculate the surface temperature of the insulated cable, that is T2. For a bare wire, the heat flow per meter length, it can be calculated using the equation of the Newton's law of cooling, that is Q1 equals to H naught A delta T. Now all the values are actually given in the numerical. So putting all the value, we can calculate the heat flow at Q1, this is equals to 7.85 watt per meter. Now in case of the insulated or sheathed cable, the heat flow can be calculated using the equation for the Q2, that is the equation that we have seen earlier, that is 2 pi L multiplied with the temperature difference divided by 1 by H naught R2 plus ln R2 by R1 divided by K. So this R2 and R1, that is the inner and outer radius, it can be, the notation can be varied from R0 and Ri also. So in this equation, as all the values are given except the T2, which we need to actually find. So here, if we put all the values for the equation Q2, then ultimately we are getting the formula for the Q2. This is actually 0.495 multiplied by T2 minus 20. Now, since the intensity of current flowing through the conductor, it remains unaltered, which is given in the question. If the intensity of current flowing through the conductor, it remains unchanged or unaltered. So in that case, Q1 will be Q2. So the value of Q1 we have already calculated, which is 7.85 watt per meter, and the value of Q2, that is we have got in terms of T2, that is 4.495 multiplied by T2 minus 20. So from this equation we can calculate the value of the T2, that is the surface temperature of the insulated cable. So that value we are getting here as 35.86 degrees centigrade. So this is another method to solve the thickness of the insulation and the surface of the insulated cable. So we need to remember the formula of the critical thickness and the formula for the heat flow for a cylinder or sphere. Let us move to the next numerical. So here in the question, a small electric heating application uses wire of 2 mm diameter with 0.8 mm thick insulation, where the thermal conductivity K is given. The heat transfer coefficient, convective heat transfer coefficient of the insulated surface is 35 watt per meter square degree centigrade. We need to determine the critical thickness of insulation in this case and the percentage change in the heat transfer rate if the critical thickness is used, and assuming the temperature difference between the surface of the wire and the surrounding air remains unchanged. So this condition is given here. Now the inner radius, that is R1, it is given here. It is 1 millimeter, which can be converted as 0.001 meter. Now the value of the R2, that is the outer radius or R0, it is also given, that is 0.00018 meter. Thermal conductivity, it is given 0.12 watt per meter degree centigrade, and convective heat transfer coefficient, it is given 35 watt per meter degree centigrade. Now first we need to determine the critical thickness of insulation. So the critical thickness of insulation, the formula it is known to us, this is equals to RC, this is K by H naught or K by H. The value of K and H, these are given in the question, so we can easily calculate the critical radius of insulation here for this wire, that is we are getting as 3.43 millimeter. So for the second part of this numerical, we need to find the percentage change in the heat transfer rate if the critical thickness is used, and we need to assume the temperature difference between the surface of the wire and the surrounding air remains unchanged. So for that, to find the percentage change in heat transfer rate, so for the case 1, the heat flow through an insulated wire, it is given as, the formula it is Q1, that is 2 pi L T1 minus T air divided by ln R2 divided by R1 divided by K plus 1 by H naught R2. So in this equation, putting the values which are given in the question, we are getting the equation of the Q1, that is the heat flow for the insulated wire, it is 2 pi L T1 minus T air divided by 20.77. Now in the question it is given, we need to use the critical thickness. So when we use the critical thickness, in that case the heat flow, what will be the heat flow? That means the formula will get changed if we use the critical thickness. So the formula of Q2, that is the heat flow through the insulated wire, it will be 2 pi L T1 minus T air divided by ln RC by R1. earlier, without considering the critical thickness, it was ln R2 by R1. Now it will be considering the critical thickness, it will be ln RC by R1 divided by K plus 1 by H naught into RC. So in the earlier formula, instead of the R2, that is the outer radius, we have replaced that R2 by RC, because as per the question we need to use the critical thickness. So now we are getting the Q2 equation equals to 2 pi L multiplied by T1 minus TAR divided by 18.6. Now we need to find the percentage change in the heat transfer. So to calculate the percentage change in the heat flow using the critical thickness of insulation, the formula will be Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 multiplied by 100. So this will be the formula for the percentage change in the heat flow. So the value of the Q2 and Q1, if we put all the equations for this heat transfer here, so ultimately we will get the percentage increase in the heat flow if we use the critical thickness of insulation as 11.6%. So this is the procedure by which we have solved this numerical regarding the critical thickness of insulation, and by considering the critical thickness we have calculated the percentage increase in the heat flow for this wire. So these are the three different numericals where we have discussed how the method to use the formula of the critical thickness of insulation or the critical radius of insulation and the heat flow equation for the cylinder or sphere. Okay, so let us move to the next topic. So up to this we have discussed the conduction part, that is the critical thickness of insulation. Now we will discuss another topic, that is extended surface heat transfer. So basically this happens by the use of the fan, and in this case the convection mode of heat transfer, it is dominant. So what we have seen in case of the convection, this convection, it is the heat transfer between a solid surface and a moving fluid governed by the Newton's law of cooling. So this is the thing we have seen in case of the convection. So the Newton's law of cooling we have studied earlier, that is the mathematical representation, it is equals to Q equals to HA multiplied by the temperature difference. It is the surface temperature and the ambient temperature, where H is the convective heat transfer coefficient and A is the area of the surface. Now to increase the convective heat transfer, there can be different things that we can take into consideration. How to increase the convective heat transfer of a geometrical shape. So three cases have been considered here. So the first case is from the Newton's law of cooling. Based on the different terms or different parameters we are using in this Newton's law of cooling, if we want to increase the convective heat transfer, then suppose for the first case we can increase the temperature difference, that is Ts minus T alpha, in between the surface and the fluid to increase the convective heat transfer. This is one method or one way. Next, if we increase the convection coefficient or convective heat transfer coefficient small h, if we increase the value of the small h, so how to accomplish that? This can be attained by increasing the fluid flow over the surface, since this convective heat transfer coefficient, it is the function of the flow velocity, and the higher the flow velocity, the higher will be the convective heat transfer coefficient. Example will be a cooling fan. So that means for the second case, if we increase the fluid flow over the surface, it will result in the increase in the convective heat transfer coefficient, which will increase the convective heat transfer. In the third case, if we increase the contact surface area, that is capital A, and the example will be a heat sink with fins, which we will discuss here. So there are three different ways by which we can increase the convective heat transfer from the Newton's using the Newton's law of cooling. We can either increase the temperature difference, or we can increase the convective heat transfer coefficient, and the last way is that we can increase the contact surface area. Now what is seen that in various times or in various cases, when the first option, it is not in our control, that is the temperature difference, it is not in our control. And the second option, that is increasing the heat transfer convective heat transfer coefficient, it is already stretched to its limit. That means we are unable to alter with the first two cases. So in that case we are left with the last case only. That means we can only increase the contact surface area of the object to increase the convective heat transfer. So how to do that? To increase the effective surface area, to increase the convective heat transfer, we need to use some extended surface which will be attached to the main object. So those extended surface, those are termed as fins. So by using the fins, we are actually increasing the contact surface area, and which is actually leading to the increase in the convective heat transfer. So these fins are the protrusions from the base surface into the cooling fluid, so that the extra surface of the protrusions is also in contact with the fluid. So the cooling fins or air-cooled engines like motorcycles or portable generators, or electronic equipment like CPU or automobile radiators, air conditioning equipment, condenser or elsewhere, these are some examples of the extended surface heat transfer which are used as a contact or adjoining surfaces with the main body or the base surface, which actually increases the contact surface area and which leads to increase in the convective heat transfer. So in this figure 3 we can see different types of fin surfaces which are attached to the base surface. So in the first diagram 3a we can see the straight fin of the rectangular profile on a plane wall. Next, in the figure 3b you can see a straight fin of a rectangular profile on a circular tube. In the next 3c you can see a cylindrical tube with radial fin on its periphery of the rectangular profile. And in the last diagram 3d we can see the cylindrical spine on circular rod fin. So these are the different extended surface or different shapes or types of fin surfaces which are actually used to extend the heat transfer or convective heat transfer. Okay, so this is the application of the fin to increase the heat transfer. In a necessary condition, we are using some protrusions or some extended surface attached to the base surface of the object. So these extended surfaces which are increasing the contact surface area, and from the concept of the Newton's law of cooling, it is ultimately helping to increase the convective heat transfer rate. Okay. So in the next lecture we will be discussing the different equation for the three different cases of the heat transfer in case of the fin. So this is the end for this lecture.